Okay, so what we're going to do is work through now editing a geofence that's already been contributed, and we're going to use an SMDG ocean terminal, so as opposed to a BIC code. And the reason for that is for SMDG ocean terminals, we need two geofences. We always geofence the land-based facility where the containers and cranes are essentially, and then also the berthing area where the vessels will be loaded and unloaded with containers. So I've just done a quick search in here for everything in Italy, and what we can see is a list. Looking down this list of providers for the BIC or for SMDG, BIC obviously being the inland container depots, and SMDG for the ocean terminals, two separately managed code lists, all providing the same functionality within the tool. So what we're going to do is have a look at this Roma terminal container. So if we just take a look in this facility, I can see this is SMDG code ITCVV, which is the UN low code, and then RTC, which is the SMDG extension for this facility. So if we just zoom in and pop the satellite view open, we can see obviously the facility, and we can see we're in the right place here, Roma terminal container spa, which matches what we're expecting from the code list. Okay, so I'm logged in, as you can see, so I've got the ability to provide some geofences. If we just scroll down, we can see there's a suggestion that's been made some time back here. It needs to have a berth, so this one's not been approved as yet, so we're going to cover that during this. If we scroll down as well, I just want to show where we have third-party mapping suggestions. So wherever there's a geofence that's publicly accessible, we'll pull these in for those that are nearby, the top three nearby the point. So that red point essentially is the GPS location, the dot. So it's found three potential matches. This one here looks also pretty good. It's named as RTC as well. And looking at the example, it's pretty much the same. So in either of these, we can click on copy geofence. This means that we don't need to draw all of the points from scratch. We just need to add the berth. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to go into the GeoJSON tool. We're clicking through. I can see here that the GeoJSON is already pre-populated from a previous session. So it's important always to clear that out. And I'm just going to paste the geofencing that we're looking for RTC. So we're obviously in the right place. This is a really good geofence that's been made available from a public source. So what we're going to do is basically expand this to include the berth area. Okay. So if I needed to adjust this, then I can click on this pencil icon here, and I can click any of these points to make adjustments as I needed to. We don't need to in this case, but what we do need to do is include the additional berth. We can see there's cruise ships here, so we don't want to include that area. We always look for crane areas, and typically when we put a berth in, we're looking for at least a ship's width, or at least to the end of the crane. So what I'm going to do is use the polygon tool that we've used before. It's the only one we really care too much about. I'm going to create a point just on the end of this, and I'm going to come out roughly to the end of the crane and potentially where a vessel would be. I'm going to drag this across. You can see the end of the berthing area is here. So what we'll do is draw our berth. Okay. And we'll come back to the point to complete the geofence. So I can see that one's a little bit out of shape. So I'm just going to edit the geofence, click on this point, just pull it in. It's a little bit easier to see sometimes when you've drawn them. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that geofence. I've added the berth, we've got the container facility. So what we're going to do now is click on copy. We're going to come back over to the geofence review tool. Just make sure we're on the right code, which we are for RTC. We're going to paste this into the tool. Just going to check our Google map as we always do. Sometimes you see ships berthing there depending on the zoom level. So nothing there, but that looks pretty good for me. So again, we've got that knowledge. We don't have any knowledge of this facility in person, but obviously it's a geofence has been provided. I'm going to leave this as review panel. And I'll just make a note here. And then I'm just adding the berth. It's optional to add remarks, but sometimes it helps a review panel when they're doing their process of reviewing these geofence facilities. I'm going to make a request. Okay, now because we've got two geofences and it's an SMDG facility, we need to identify which one is the facility and which one is the berth. If this was in North America and we'd drawn another geofence, the other option we have in North America under IANA is to draw the truck queues, which is important in North America. For BIC, it's just the facilities that we're interested in, and for SMDG, the facility and the berth. So we've identified both of those. I'm going to confirm my request. So this can go to the Geofence review panel. We just wait just a second, it'll reload the page. Okay, we scroll down now, we see the original suggestion. And what we also now see is color coded the facility in red and the berth in orange. Okay, I can view that as I did before. So that'll go to the review panel. It now meets the criteria for an SMDG ocean terminal, as in two geofences, one for the berth, one for the facility.